Hello, Real News subscribers, for this Tuesday, May 6th, 2008. This is Gordon Angelino's critique and review of this Real News episode about the John McCain healthcare plan. While I'm not a proponent of the John McCain healthcare plan, it does have one very nice feature about it, which of course the Real News, being made up of socialists to a great extent, has unwittingly put into the discussion. That is, John McCain's plan gives very little role for the federal government in healthcare. And they think that this is a bad thing. If in their perfect world the government would run just about everything and would or heavily regulate just about everything, which would be the same as running it, denying owners ownership of their property, whether it be a healthcare business or business producing energy or any other business out there. So what use would be there for owners to create their own businesses? Well, a lot of the large corporations would find a use in this, mainly because they would have no new competitors to fight against. That's what the high taxes are for. They benefit large corporations. One of the reasons why healthcare has been coming up in cost is there's really no one new wants to enter the healthcare field because it's constantly under the threat of government nationalization. That is a major portion of why healthcare is sky high. Of course, the Real News tries to position it as being some sort of, evil corporate fat cats in smoke-filled rooms. My imaginary cigar here, saying let's raise the prices. No, and the problem is we haven't had free market economics in the healthcare system for a long time. All our for Veterans Affairs, they have a system similar to England. The United States has a system similar to Japan for people on Medicare. We have a system similar to parts of Europe, especially Germany, for young working people. It's a very fragmented healthcare system. That's part of the reason why it costs more than the healthcare systems in Europe. But in Europe, we found out on a constant basis almost that many of the European healthcare authorities cook their books. They just do not tell the truth about how much these things are costing. A huge amount of underfunding and unfunded pensions that people are drawing off of borrowed money. And of course, they're expecting young people like myself and any other young people here to pay for these things. The baby boomers are stealing from the generation beforehand in a very socialist way. And the funny thing is, the politicians and the corporate fat cats will have the last laugh on this. The fact that there's no competition means their prices can rise. They'll have some kind of legislation that pretends to solve the problem. Well, let's look at the history of that. Social Security, totally underfunded. There's nothing in the trust fund. Had we had a trust fund, we would have been okay. But of course, the American people made the mistake, and parts in Europe, they made their mistake of having whatever systems that are similar they have. They made the mistake of trusting the government. Do not trust the government. Oh my God! Look at what happened. The trust fund there's zero money in the trust fund because politicians needed to spend that money on little pork barrel projects and other problems. Trust fund would be here today, but if you X'd out all the pork barrel projects out of the U.S. Budget year to year from between now and say 1950 or even 1940, take that and if you took away all the pork barrel spending, you'd have plenty of money from the trust fund. But Congress wanted to have pork barrel spending, and they borrowed it right out of the trust fund to avoid raising taxes. Now the Real News would say, "Oh, we should just raise taxes." Yeah, we have less. Yeah, that's what poor people need. Even less disposable income that they can do whatever they want with. No, they need more. That's what being poor is to a great extent. You've put up the money for your basic necessities and you have nothing left over, and a lot of that is because the taxes are so high. People don't even want to get to the middle class because that's when they get slammed by the big taxes. So now we have Medicaid, even worse. oh my gosh, I have a link right next to me, or maybe it's on the other side of me, that you should look at. It's right next to the video window. Take a look at it. And this is the head bureaucrat who runs the U.S. actuary, which is accounting for those of you in Rio Linda. And he talks about where the bad parts of the U.S. budget are. It's not the military. You could take away all of the military and all the known waste in government, and it would not make a dent. Not a dent in the U.S. federal budget. Most of the problem with the budget is Social Security, and even worse, Medicare. So yes, we did have a system where the government has been running healthcare in the United States for quite a while. The United States healthcare has been socialist for quite a long time. They're trying to put more socialism in, even though what we have now, the amount of socialism we have now, is killing us, killing our economy, killing the people's ability to have affordable health care. And they just want to take over control of whatever little bit remains. Well, I'm sorry, Real News reporters, but you're not going to see any sort of improvement in health care by having the Obama or Hillary plans, which are even more socialist. We need to take the socialism out of the U.S. healthcare system. Make it so fraternal organizations like the Shriners and other organizations like that can have their own healthcare systems again, like they did in Britain in the early days. They had fraternal organizations, non-profits doing the healthcare, and profits. Everybody could enter the market, but only the hardiest, scrappiest, best people with the best service could possibly win. You had ratings agencies. The healthcare system could be entirely free market, but the media, you guys such as the Real News, don't even give a thought to explaining healthcare in a responsible way. Not one thought about it. No, you want more government, because that's the people in the press always see problems and they want an instant solution. There are no instant solutions, and there's no utopian solution. And you reporters that have been weaned on communism and socialism in your college courses really need to wake up. So, there are many things that we could do, but to have the real issue for the U.S. budget and the fact that the government caused our healthcare crisis, the healthcare crisis that they're supposed to solve, that's like making the head mobsters of the community, put them on members of the crime fighting committee. That is not a good idea any more than socializing medicine is. So let's wake up the people, wake up the world. If the United States can make itself a functioning free market system, that has less waste and fraud, I'm sure that the Europeans and other portions of the world will follow suit, and we will keep costs down, and real costs. You have to be careful. The costs will look okay at first until the government numbers start coming in, and you see where the they use exotic these socialists use exotic accounting instruments to hide some of the true costs of healthcare. So we'll see. But check out the video. Talk to somebody that's actually in government that handles the money on a daily basis, and he's saying that we're in a crisis because of the government pension plans. Don't take my word for it. Avoué. C'est la vie.